Okay, very welcome to this review of the Serie A and preview of Serie A matchday 3 and 4. Because I just noticed there are no review matchday 4, preview matchday 5, sorry once again. As I noticed that they are gonna play on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday midweek. So the preview of the weekend matches, in fact, I can't really do before those games have been played. So I have to hurry a bit on Friday and upload them instantly because I have to wait for the last game to be played, I guess, until we get new prices for the upcoming matches. And also, well, what would you prefer? Which kind of betting would you prefer? Would you wish to know all the results, or would you even bet 2 weeks in advance? Of course, I can it is no difference. It is no difference if you think about it. It is, you know, as soon as the results are, you know the results. As soon as the results are there, you know them, and the other one knows them. So if you bet before them, you have the same amount of information as the other one does. So if you like it, the early market betting is anyway something you can always try, and with a tool, even better, because you can do this 2 weeks in advance, and it's one fingertip away. Maybe that you just click on this, you select the next match day, if you get prices for that. For these games, here we are working with a tool, with a Betmaster tool, the one that you can get access to. You can get your your data area in which you can use this, because the odds you are going to compile are individually just for you. If you take my evaluations, which you can do, then you get exactly the prices that I'm compiling, until you at some point, we still might diverge because well, there are many things. If you look at the ranking, I may adjust here or there, but you may adjust, because you simply say, well, Torino are better than Genoa. Maybe they are anyway, but also in my ranking. But you can do adjustments there. If you have Napoli or Roma, you'd simply say Napoli are better than Roma, or you say Juve are better than Inter, or the other way around. I can't tell in the end. Of course, we can always look it up here, but right, where you think is the big difference. Venezia lost. Salernitana also, even with Ribéry, are losing their games. Spezia, Empoli, Cagliari looking from the bottom. Genoa, Verona, Torino, Udinese, Fiorentina, Bologna, Sampdoria, Sassuolo. Sounds pretty good. Sampdoria might be a bit below, or Fiorentina a bit underrated. That could even be above Sassuolo, in fact. I'm not sure. You can move them there if you think by tradition they might belong there. Lazio below Atalanta, maybe fine. Roma, Milan, Juve, Napoli, Inter. Who knows so well? If you do, you'd simply touch a team here and move them down and have your own ranking then. Anyway, now we have to update the games, and we also have to review them in some sense. I'm wrong here that there is an update for this. The current round is the 5th round, because they are playing tomorrow and so on. Anyway, the 4th match day has been played. Sassuolo lost at home to Torino, which was maybe a small surprise. But if we tune on the bookmaker prices here, we may notice maybe even a small indication at some point on Torino, if it was 4.18, but here 2.0. I was pretty just fine with market. Fiorentina, I had a higher price than market, so this was not a good result for me. The 150 are simply a mistake here. Inter 144, My price 143, maximum average 136. So I was a bit above market, but it is rather market's evaluation. Inter 161. So is it a surprise or not? We don't know. But of course, if Inter win, it's not such a surprise. But I was pretty right in my compilation. Salernitana lost to 0-1 to Atalanta, once another loss. 145 was my price, so I still had some trust in them. They didn't manage. 137 was the maximum, 131, so I was above market. But that was also towards the end, the closing line. Empoli, Sampdoria, computer supported Sampdoria. That was a win, so this one was fine. Venezia, Spezia may have even been an indication for the maximum price on Spezia. 323, true price 291. I was pretty okay with this one. Roma lost in Verona. He was 645 was my price. Maybe I even suggested Roma. They had some trouble. They lost the game. I was wrong here. Lazio Cagliari couldn't win. We may have even had an indication, although the 925 are misleading. 146 average was 149. Not a win for Lazio, to draw only. Juventus against Milan. I think I went against Juventus with an X2. I think the 1-1 was a fine result. I watched this game. Milan put up some very good resistance in the end, and they deserved the 1-1, although Juventus started the better. Udinese 0-4, here was fine. Market, I think I suggested even Napoli 176 was my price. Average was 186, so I was fine. Here or there I was better, here or there I was worse than market, but it's giving you an idea of how the tool works. So this is more important than getting all the bets that I'm proposing. Of course, I'm intending to make a good job here, but I have a different focus now to get this tool running for you. So I'm not watching all the Italian matches. If I watch one, if I do it, I like it because I have the time. So I'm simply going to watch it, but it's not my main business, which is rather now doing. I rather save the games we have, because we saw this small problem here in the last for this La Liga. It didn't work. Now I'm gonna compile the prices here once again after we updated the teams. Maybe there are some small changes to them. Bologna still even a bit better than Genoa. Now I can't say what the basis was for the prices that had been before. Maybe pre-season compilation. I don't want to see that. But that's tomorrow, the game. Bologna 198. I think market should not be higher. Although this is suggested here, I rather stick to my own prices. Those are my true prices. The reciprocal of the probabilities that are compiled by the described ways. I have the evaluations of the teams based on those goals they score and goals they concede, and even divided into home and away expectancy. You see the home advantage also that's been stored and that has been coming up. That's all taken care of. Also the goal average and everything looks pretty okay in Italy at the moment. Of course, you need to look at those longer videos in which I explain this a bit deeper and better. Bologna 198, I would not expect a bet here. Can't imagine it's going to be higher than 198. Atalanta Sassuolo 170 looks pretty high. I may be a bit too low with Atalanta in the rankings, so I'm afraid no bet on Atalanta, but I wouldn't wish to support Sassuolo, but I'm not sure. Fiorentina, that looks pretty good. I can't say better. 169 on favorite is fine. Salernitana, Verona, pretty well. 257 may still be too much on Verona. Still, I would give Salernitana maybe another chance. Spezia, Juve looks okay. 142. Well, what would market do? Maybe 145. There is a small chance. I wouldn't guess so because Juve are not performing. 150, I can't imagine. Cagliari, Empoli, 248. This looks perfect. Maybe a bit too high, even 220. Could be market price. Milan, Venezia, 132 is 130. We won't get more. Most likely even under 130, I guess. 135, no. I can't dream of that. Sampdoria, Napoli looks like maybe even Napoli. There is a small chance. There is 165. I can imagine, but no more. 170, I wouldn't dream of. No. Torino, Lazio were maybe even a bit too low on Lazio. Torino are well respected, but Lazio, well, I would see some potential. If we get a better price, why not? Roma made after this defeat now, maybe, well, it should be 150, but if there is a 155, we still wouldn't consider. So we'd rather stick to these evaluations. 2.0, it was exactly the price that I did fancy here. So well, they lost by 6 goals, but they also lost, and in the table, Bologna are still a lot better. Inter Milan did is clearly too much, although I said maybe market is even a bit higher than this, but 2.0 is just too much. But Inter are, well, they have to replace Lukaku. Still, they played pretty well in Champions League as well against Real. They lost by a goal. Here I said 170. So I'm going to propose Inter, in fact, still telling you what could be wrong. I said when we saw Fiorentina in my ranking, we could lift them a bit up to average maybe, and that's where they usually belong, but they have to prove it over longer spells, I would consider. And Inter Milan having some small problems, also losing the game against Real Madrid and not scoring goals, although you could see they are pretty good. The 170 on Atalanta, I said already, maybe a bit too much, but 158, that's fine. So we're not even, well, would we consider to go with Sassuolo? I wouldn't do so. It's maybe slightly indicated, the X2. You can check that, but you can calculate the reciprocal price of this one as well very easily. If you wish to know, we can always do that in if you have a 240 here, then here are all these formulas already. Then you pay 175 one, or if you get a 170, well, which way do I have to put it? It is at least 2.4, and the reciprocal, the reverse price to that is 171. So if we click on this one, we pay like 171 on Atalanta, which we wouldn't do, because 170 is our true price. So it's not indicated. Spezia Juve, I said maybe if we get, well, 135, that's very, very clean. We don't bet this one. Salernitana, of course, we get way too much. Would I give them another chance? Well, why not? I mean, 175. I mean, Verona didn't convince me at all when I saw them, and Salernitana, I mean, I know when they are promoted, they are like Fürth or like in Premier League Norwich, they are simply losing their games, which is an exception, but if it starts going like this, maybe they are simply not good enough. Still, I can imagine they open their account here. Cagliari 2.0, I said maybe that's even a bit too much, 220 I was guessing. So we may consider to go with Empoli. They did beat Juve away from home. 180 is, yeah, well, 180 is in fact enough, because we pay a 220. This is exactly the price that I said market might do. We pay this, or 222. Which you can check out with this reciprocal calculation there as well. I mean, all you need to do here is divide this by 1, or 1 divided by this, right? This is a formula. And then 1 minus, this is the reverse price of this, and then 1 divided by this. Then you have the reverse price. So this is exactly a fair bet. If one side makes 240, the other one 17143 or something like that, then exactly it's a fair price for both of them. It's a 100% payout, right? Milan is only 125. I said so, maybe 130, 128. It's only 125. That's fine. Lazio is 220. I was guessing so. It could be a bit higher than 191. And Torino are well respected. Still, I would give them a chance. I mean, it is a tough, very tough competition there, and everything is very close. But still, I can imagine they, of course, well, why wouldn't we be able to imagine Lazio beating Torino? But 220 is simply the price I'm going to try. And also Napoli is 180. We have 169. No, what was it? 162, sorry. So we have a good indication. I was also somehow foreseeing this because I said maybe a bit more than 162. Or did I say I wouldn't dream of 165? I was starting with 170. They are even higher. Okay, in this case we have to go for the away sides, which is not such a huge surprise, but also Roma is only 153. I'm going to show you in a second, because if you check out here, I mean, it's not such bad news because the home advantage is only 1.063 at the moment. This is less than which is stored, which is the calculation is based upon, and it's also less than that's even then in the campaigns before with the Corona partly and so on. So in fact, it's not such a huge home advantage, although I still assume some. So if we go against the home side, it does make some certain sense, because the market is not so sensible for these special things, right? So these are my proposals for this match day. 245. I'm not going to check the over under now because it's simply taking too much time, and I would propose you rather bet those sites when you go along with the team's needs, what they want to achieve and what you would like to have to happen, which is not the case if you go for the over under. Those are more mathematical bets, and those are more the bets for the football supporter who likes football. Anyway, so thanks a lot. Leave your comments and likes and so on underneath the video, and you find the description how you get access to this tool, which is really doing an excellent job. It's an odds compiling tool, but it's doing a job well on a very high level, I consider, because I've been working with it 31 years. Maybe you do not trust this fully or say, well, show me your good results. They had been there. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.